Hello guys, welcome to my very first video. I decided to create this video because I will not be seeing you on Thursday, and on Monday I noticed that some people were a little bit confused when adding and subtracting integers using the counter, so you were confusing the method. So I would like to review that one more time. So in this video we will go over the addition and subtraction of integers with the same sign and with different signs. So just bear with me as I go through this learning process, because again, this is my very first video. So hopefully it will help you model the addition and the subtraction for the activity that you're going to be doing on Thursday when I'm not there. So let's get started. So first we're going to look at the addition and subtraction of integers that have the same sign. And remember that the circle with the plus means a positive integer, and the circle with the minus means a negative integer. Also remember that when we put together two opposites, in this case a plus and a minus, we get 0. So that is a 0 pair. Alright, so let's get started. So this first one, I'm adding positive 5 and positive 2, and for some reason I already have the answer there, but I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So I have 5 positive, so I need to grab 5 positive counters. That's 2. Oops, what's going on? Alright, that was weird. Well, that was 4, and that is 5. Okay, so now I need to add 2 more positives. So I have 5 and 2. They are all the same type of counter, so I can just simply add and I will get 7. Now let's take a look at the negatives when we have two integers that are negatives. So same idea. In this case I have negative, so I'm going to grab myself 4 negative counters. There you go. And to this I am adding 3 more negatives. So I'm just gonna grab 3 more. So I'm just doing whatever that operation tells me. They're telling me to add more, then I add more. And again, because they're all the same type of counters, I am actually adding it all together, and I will get 7 counters, but in this case they are negative. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. So this is subtraction, and I'm subtracting 2 negative integers. So we start with this quantity. So we have 2 negative counters. That's all we have, 2 negative counters. Now this operation is telling us to take away or subtract 3 negative counters, but we do not have enough to subtract. So remember that we can always borrow, and when you borrow you are adding to what you already have. So I'm going to borrow 3 negative counters. When I borrow, remember that we have to pay that back, and we are showing that by also grabbing the positive counters. And really all we're doing is adding 0 pairs, just like we mentioned before. So adding 0 to anything doesn't change that quantity. but it does allow us to be able to remove, to take away the 3 negatives. So I can take them away. Now what I have, I will rewrite this. I have 1 and 2 negatives plus I no longer have those negatives from here, from the 0 pairs. All I have now are those 3 positive counters. Now, because they're different, your job is to match a negative with a positive. So your job is to make 0 pairs. So we're gonna take this with this one, that makes a 0 pair. Take this with this one, that's another 0 pair. So the only one that was left out with no pair was that one positive counter. So that means that -2 minus -3 is a +1. Alright, so make sure that you go back to this problem you still don't get it, because this is basically what you're doing when you have different integers. You are combining them and you are creating 0 pairs. So now let's take a look at subtraction of two numbers that are both positives. So in this case I need 4 of the positive counters. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now following this operation, it tells me you need to subtract 2 positives. Oops, that was supposed to be a positive. Now I can actually take away from what I have here. So in this case I will just go ahead and take away 2 positives because I have enough to take away. So I took away those 2 and all I have left are 2 positive counters. So that means that my answer for 4 minus 2 is simply a +2. Alright, so just as a short review, going back to the subtraction, remember that if you don't have enough, then you want to borrow. So you are creating 0 pairs. And from there, you are taking away whatever you need, and then you are creating 0 pairs to get to your answer. And down here, whenever you have enough, then just take those away if you have enough. Alright, so let's move on to integers that have different signs. So we have these 3 different cases. So we have -2 plus a +4. So this is addition, so that's the first thing they need to look at, what type of operation you're doing. So we have a -2, so I'm going to do this on the side. So I need 2 negative counters because I am adding means you add more. I need to add 4 positives, so 4 positive counters. So I am adding 4 positive counters. There you go. Now, since you're adding, you need to combine them, but they're not the same type of counters. You have negative and positive counters. They are opposites, so you need to create 0 pairs. So I'm gonna match this one with this one to make a 0 pair, and this one with this one to make a zero pair. And all I have left are these two positives. So that means that my answer to negative 2 plus 4 is a positive 2. Alright, let's take a look at this one. So here we have negative 3 minus positive 4. So now we are subtracting. But first, we always start the same way. We always model the first number that we have. So in this case, negative 3. But now we're not adding anything to this. Now they're asking us to take away 4 positives, but we don't have any positives. So we need to borrow, or we need to add 0 pairs. So I need to add enough so that I have 4 positives. So I'm going to be adding 4 0 pairs. It's 2. And I don't know why it keeps doing this. There you go. And then I need my negatives to go with this. Alright. Now I have enough positives to take away, so I will take them away. So we'll take this 4 positives away. And they're gone. So now notice that what I have is 3 negatives plus 4 negatives. So that means that since they're all the same, I can just simply add them. So 3 plus 4 will be 7. But they're all negative counters, so I have negative 7. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So we have positive 2 minus a negative 3. So again, start by modeling that first integer. So we have positive 2. Now we need to take away 3 negatives, but we don't have 3 negatives. So we are going to add 0 pairs, or we're going to borrow, and when we borrow, we add to what we have. So we're going to add enough 0 pairs so that I have enough negatives to take away. So those are my negatives. My positives. So I added 3 0 pairs. And now this allows me to take away those 3 negatives. So I take away 3 negatives. And they're gone. Notice that I have 2 positives plus 3 positives. Since they're all the same, I combine them. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and they're all positive, so my answer is a positive 5. Alright, so hopefully that helps you. Watch this video as many times as you need to. I posted a similar video to this one on my website, so make sure that you check both. And if you still have any questions, I will see you on Friday. You can always send me an email or write me a comment on the website. See you guys later.